Announcements.
Yes, Honorable Prime Minister. Obituary.
Madam Speaker, we have learnt of the demise of Mr. Ismail Hassan Jinawu, former member of the Legislative Assembly, on Tuesday, the 25th of November of this year at the age of 86. In 1983, Mr. Nawu contested the general election under the banner of the alliance MSM Travails in constituency number 3, Port-Louis Maritime and Port-Louis East, but he was not elected. He was, however, allocated a seat under the best with the system to serve the then Legislative Assembly. In 1984, Mr. Nawu was appointed as member to serve the Select Committee on Drug Addiction. He had some problems later regarding this issue. Madam Speaker, may I kindly request you to direct the Clerk of the National Assembly to convey the condolences of the Assembly to the members of the bereaved family of late Mr. Nawu. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Opposition, I wish to associate myself to the tribute paid by the Honourable Prime Minister to late Mr. Ismail Hassan Jinawu. And Madam Speaker, may I request you to direct the Clerk of the National Assembly to convey our deep condolences to the bereaved family. Thank you.
Yes. Honourable members, I associate myself with the tribute paid to the memory of late Ismail Hassan Jinawu, former Member of Parliament, by the Honourable Prime Minister and the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, and I direct the Clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family. Yes, honourable members, I have an announcement. Honourable members, on the 29th of November 2024, you elected me unanimously as Speaker of the National Assembly. And last Saturday, therefore, I could mark my 1 full year in this position. Last Tuesday, I had to suspend the sitting as the aggressive behavior of some members had reached its peak after I had already given 2 warnings that I would do so if there was no order in the chamber. I learned in the meantime that Honourable Adrien Duval accused me of being partial. He did this on Top FM radio. On his Facebook page, which I read, he said that I was trop souvent dépassé par les événements. Indeed, a journalist of Top FM asked me for declaration, which I gave him very briefly, but I invited him to listen to my announcement, which I'm giving now. I accepted this post, honourable members, on the clear understanding that I would be totally independent. And I invite Honourable Duval to raise his objections here about my partiality by way of a substantive motion and not just lightly. You can see Standing Order 45, 40 bracket 5. He may not like the way that I have adopted for the past year. He's free to hold his opinions. But concerning the conduct of a speaker, there are rules. Now, honourable member, I want to refer to the incident which made me suspend the sitting. Everything is in a Hansard. By the way, now that we have direct broadcast, a very wide audience was also witness to the situation to see how it deteriorated. Any honourable member will by now have had the same amount of time as me to read the Hansard and to understand how things happened. The decision to suspend the sitting, rather than order members out, was mine. I fully stand by that decision, which is based on Standing Order 77, which gives me a wide power to regulate the conduct of business in the Assembly. I am not going to repeat negative decisions of the past by ordering members out or naming anyone, because the place of honourable members is in the House and not anywhere else. This applies to members on both sides of the House. And I count on all of you to help me to maintain the decorum of the House. Anyone who does not agree with what is going on is free to raise a point of order and ask for my ruling. But points of orders must respect the standing orders and rules of the National Assembly. May I refer honourable members to Standing Order 41. Further, may I also remind you, once more, that sometimes I need to take time to give a ruling precisely, as I must read the Hansard to understand clearly what happened. They say fools rush in where angels fear to tread. It is better to take time in order to be fair and make a proper decision, but my decision cannot be questioned. I also want to remind members that at question time, we need questions and not statements from honourable members. All the preliminaries are not permitted. In fact, it is easy with the English language to ask a question by incorporating the fact on which the question is based, rather than make a long-winded introduction which will clearly call for unpleasant remarks. This applies again to both sides of the House. I will not allow long introductory remarks anymore. And if there's no need, and there is no need for members to give rulings as if everyone is a speaker in this House. Please let me do what I am here for. Now, for ministers who are replying to a question, it is not acceptable to use 20 minutes out of 30 to answer a private notice question. We will have to find a good solution on such issues. Even for PQs, ministers are invited to be precise in their answers. If not, an answer which requires a long explanation may be tabled. Then members will have to put supplementary questions, if need be, or take notice of the reply, and in due course come back with a new question, unless there is an urgency, of course. As for the private notice question, it is a time for the leader of the opposition who exercises this right according to our standing orders, and it is a long tradition in our democracy based on the Westminster system. Any other member who wishes to put a supplementary question must wait for the leader of the opposition to finish with his supplementary questions before putting a question. Once a member catches my eye, he or she must wait. Last and not least, I will not tolerate any member who addresses me in a sitting position. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was waiting for your go-ahead. Madam Speaker, I've given notice of the following private notice question addressed to Dr. the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs and External Communications, Minister of Finance, Minister for Rodrigues and Outer Islands, whether in regard to the forthcoming Pay Research Bureau report, he will A, for the benefit of the House, obtain information as to where matters stand regarding the preparation thereof, indicating the expected date of publication, and B, state whether funds have been earmarked for the payment of the recommended salary increases, indicating 1, whether government will bear the costs at one go, 2, whether it will be implemented with retroactive effect, and 3, as from when payments will be effected, including arrears, if any. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honourable
Madam Speaker,
Prime
with your
Minister.
permission, I shall reply to this question. Madam Speaker, as stated in the House before that is, since 1982, the Pay Research Bureau has conducted the general review exercise on pay and grading structures every 5 years, except for the 2016 report. The 2016 report was published after a period of 3 years only. The 2016 PRB report, however, re-established the periodicity of the general review exercise for 5 years, and consequently the last one was in 2021. I'm informed that preparation for the next report started in March 2023 according to a preset work plan. Madam Speaker, it is worth to note that apart from ministries and departments, local authorities and the Rodrigues Regional Assembly, there are some 125 parastatal bodies that fall under the purview of the Pay Research Bureau. The Bureau has to gather maximum information to facilitate interaction and exchange of views with all stakeholders. So far, the Bureau has had more than 675 meetings with staff associations and management of both parastatal bodies and the civil service. 1,710 interviews have been conducted in relation to job description questionnaires, and 17 site visits have been effected to examine alleged problem areas highlighted by stakeholders. Madam Speaker, as the House is aware, the report on the state of the economy, which was published in December 2024, clearly demonstrated the precariousness of the economic situation. The previous government left a much larger deficit that had been announced. Public sector debt had reached an unsustainable level, and all the macroeconomic fundamentals were in the red. It is in this particularly difficult context that we are presented a budget which obviously required drastic measures to redress public finances. It is against this background that the PRB report is being prepared. As regards to Part A of the question, the preparation is at an advanced stage. As regards Part B1, 2, and 3 of the question, it is difficult for me at this stage to give an indication of the implementation of the PRB report, as the cost implications of the report are still unknown.
Thank you. Yes. First supplementary.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Again, I see that government is not keeping another electoral promise. That is, to publish, which was to publish, because they said that before the elections, to publish the report in December and payment to be effected by January next year. Madam Speaker, there has been an erosion in the purchasing power of employees in general and in all sectors since the last budget. Will the Honourable Prime Minister reassure the House that the PRB report will redress this situation, at least in the public sector, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, I'm not sure what the leader of the opposition means when he says address the situation. The situation of the economic catastrophe that you've left, and how we will address the issue. Yes, purchasing power.
Not in a sitting position. Yeah. Please sit down. Please sit down, Prime Minister. You let him sit down. Now you answer. Yeah. Don't speak to me. Don't speak. Yes.
My question is clear. It is with regard to the loss of purchasing power, and I refer to the civil servants of this country.
Okay, Prime Minister.
Will that be addressed?
As I said, Mr. Speaker, so we're working on it, but we have an unprecedented situation where the deficit, he knows, the debt is much higher than anyone expected. We knew they were cooking the books and the figures, but we did not expect to see that kind of disaster that we have inherited. It is in that context that it is being prepared.
Second question.
The Honourable Prime Minister is making reference to the state of the economy. His Minister for Civil Service is not even in the country, is travelling.
We just said that you will come with questions, not statements.
Okay. Now, if this is the case, Madam Speaker, may I ask the Honourable Prime Minister to inform the House whether the Pay Research Bureau has the capacity to carry out such an exercise with regard, I'm referring to the alignment of the salary structures, okay, and whether you will ensure that there is a continual review of the pay grading structures, Madam Speaker.
Yes, we have the capacity and this is being done.
Third question, Leader of the Opposition.
Madam Speaker, the government recently modified...
No, question.
Yeah, let me explain why I'm putting
Put your
that question.
and
The government recently modified the criteria for promotion from O-level to A-level, that is from 5 to 3 credits. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether this measure has already been included in the recruitment exercise in the public sector?
But this is
And
PRB.
may I remind the House, I put the question to the Minister for Labour and he was agreeable to what I said at that time.
But we're talking of the PRB now.
Got the question again?
Prime Minister.
It's not directly related to PRB, but yes, we are proud, in fact, that we are not leaving students who have had only 3 credits on the side of the road. We are taking them in. They are part of Mauritius and they have to be catered for.
Madam Speaker, as a gesture of solidarity towards those who are today facing difficulties in the country, can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm whether the salaries of elected members of this House will not be increased in the forthcoming PRB report?
I said, it hasn't been increased apparently since 2016. Nothing has been done for salaries. But as I said, we look at the context and this is what we're working on.
Madam Speaker, government has recently introduced measures to reduce the number of vehicles on our roads by the introduction of taxes on certain vehicles. Will government consider reviewing the facilities provided to elected members and their respective political nominees on duty-free cars and other accessories in order to reduce expenses in the
You
country?
mean new ones, of course. I'm in very old one.
Nothing to do with the PRB, but you might remind him that this in fact is the case. Except when it is essential, otherwise no.
Madam Speaker, can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm to this House whether the salary gap between the lowest earner, that is, for example, a general worker, and a permanent secretary will be reduced in the forthcoming PRB report?
I'll just explain, Madam Speaker.
Can you answer this, Prime Minister?
Yes.
Of course not, yes. But he heard.
He heard.
Yes, everybody heard.
Yeah. And I saw the reactions also, Madam Speaker. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether the PRB report will address certain working conditions, especially for posts which do not require a constant on-site presence with a view to reducing road traffic? And can he confirm whether a study has been carried out?
I'm not quite sure what he's referring to. You want people not to go on site at all.
Work from home, I'm saying.
So
Don't
they haven't
speak.
got to go and check things. They do it from home.
Do I understand, Prime Minister, that if work from home is possible, you have no objection?
Yeah, of course not, but there are certain things that you have to go on site to see what is happening.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, whether a study...
Don't speak.
For this reason, I'm asking whether a study has been carried out, Madam Speaker.
Has there been a study, Prime Minister? Has there been a
We
study?
don't need a study. This is being done worldwide, in all democracies. I hope the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, I'm not saying we can do National Assembly from home. We have to be here.
We did it during COVID.
We have. Yeah, COVID was an exception.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, today you're speaking from a sitting position. You don't normally do that.
This is an important issue, Madam Speaker.
Normally you
Now-
respect me.
Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether the forthcoming PRB report will address the lack of interest of our youth for jobs in the public sector.
This has nothing to do with the PRB report, Madam Speaker. The PRB report is, as I said, from 1982 is going on, and even when you were in government.
Honorable Prime Minister, since you've been in power, there has been a trend of retired rank civil servants who made a comeback and are now heading certain departments. Will the Honorable Prime Minister reassure the House that the forthcoming PRB report will give clear guidelines to ensure that the exercise of promotion and ranks in the public service are respected?
They're always respected, except we do take people on contract where we feel we need very able people because of from the last 10 years. Go and see how promotions were made in the civil service.
Next question. You still have a few questions?
Yeah, I've got two questions
Okay.
more, Madam Speaker. In the same vein, will the Honorable Prime Minister see to it that in the forthcoming PRB report, provision is made, Madam Speaker, to make it compulsory that promotion exercises are conducted at specific intervals in the public sector?
Specific intervals for promotion.
Normally, I don't interfere in this. This is what happens when it has to happen.
Yes.
Yes, one last question. Public servants, Madam Speaker, will get their salary compensation and a review of their salaries and working conditions with the PRB. And this will not be the case for their counterparts in the private sector. Will the Honorable Prime Minister at least consider to make it mandatory for remuneration orders to be reviewed at least once every 5 years, as is the case in the public sector, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, we don't take decisions in isolation. Let me remind the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that our sovereign rating is at the lowest grade, Moody's, Baa3. Despite fiscal consolidation measures taken in the last budget, our public debt remains substantial because of the legacy of the previous government. This is what we have to deal with. Our sovereign rating is clearly at a tipping point. Moody's is still watching. We are not beyond the possibility of a downgrade. This is what we want to prevent at all costs. This is why we took difficult decisions. We had to. We must act responsibly. We will ensure that our actions reverse the situation that we have inherited and put our finances on a more resilient path in line with the commitments taken in the Public Management Debt Act.
It's just a question, Prime Minister, was about the private sector and remuneration orders being reviewed every 5 years. Can you give us a reply on this?
We are looking into this as
Yes.
it's a global picture that we
I'm
have
sure.
to look at.
Yes. Mr. Duval.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable.
May I ask the Honourable Prime Minister how does he intend to boost up morale in the civil service, especially in the police force, when he's renegated on his promise to pay back PRB, whilst he's made it a top priority to triple the salaries and benefits of advisors, senior advisors who were earning 90,000 rupees, and now the top ones, including the Ministry of Finance, are earning, including gratuity, 240,000 rupees.
That is not the case, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Now we go to PMQT, Prime Minister's question time. Honourable members, the table has been advised that PQB 1126 will be replied by Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yes? And I now therefore call on Honourable Third Member for Bobassin-Petite-Rivière, Mr. Kirin.
B1108, please.
Madam Speaker, the previous MSM government did everything, and I mean everything, to undermine the horse racing industry and to weaken the MTC. All that was done on purpose to favor private shady interests, and it was in this context that COIREC was set up to fulfill their ambitions. During the election campaign, we had vowed to restore public trust in Mauritius' historic horse racing industry, which has been part of the island's culture for the last 200 years. As initiated in our government program 2025-2029, this government has successfully restored public confidence in the horse racing industry, as witnessed from the first racing day held on the 26th of July 2025 at the Champ de Mars, and also at the recent one, the Maiden Cup. Under the previous government, the horse racing industry was being driven towards its demise. That was the purpose of what they tried to do. With regard to part A of the question, I'm informed by COIREC that the board currently comprises the following official members. Acting Chairperson, Mr. Anne Charad, who is the Financial Secretary. Directors, Mr. Bungali, Assistant Solicitor General. Mr. Mohabir, Deputy Chief Executive of the Economic Development Board. Mr. A.K. Sitaram, Director of Tourism, Ministry of Tourism. And Ms. Sharon Yongti Kao, Assistant Permanent Secretary at Prime Minister's Office. The monthly fees payable to the chairperson and directors are 42,000 rupees and 15,750 rupees, respectively. Regarding part B of the question, I'm informed that following amendments to Section 29 of the States Land Act in the Finance Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 2022, COIREC was, as from May 2022, entrusted with the control and maintenance of the state land at Champ de Mars. Accordingly, on 1st of July 2025, a lease agreement was signed between the MTC Jockey Club and COIREC for a period of 10 years, that is up to 2034. Of course, the MTC then had to oblige because this was the plan. Under this lease agreement, the responsibility for the management, maintenance, and upgrading of racetracks falls under the responsibility of the MTC Jockey Club Limited throughout the lease period, which, as I said, I think ends in 2035. As regards Part C and D of the question, I'm informed that a rental fee of 250,000 rupees per race meeting, excluding VAT, is payable by the MTC Jockey Club to COIREC. Provisions have been made in the lease agreement for a yearly increase of 5% in the fee payable. MTC Jockey Club Limited has the right to commercially exploit the Champ de Mars, including the collection of rentals and any other income derived thereof, subject, of course, to the consent of the lessor. Madam Speaker, in July 2025, amendments were brought inter alia to Section 31 and 32 of the Gambling Regulatory Amendment Act, and provision was made for any statutory body or government-owned company to take control and maintenance of the Champ de Mars. Accordingly, COIREC is being wound up. All its activities and assets and liabilities and obligations are being transferred to a specific entity operating under Landscope Mauritius with clearly defined governance structure. During this transitional period, the board is overseeing ongoing operations, ensuring compliance with all the statutory obligations, and approving all matters necessary to facilitate an orderly winding down and closure of the company.
Yes, all right. Honourable third member for Vieux-Grand-Port-Rosbel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. PQ B1109, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the old Grand Port Civil Status Office was opened in December 1984 and was operational twice weekly, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because of the low frequency of members of the public requiring civil status services. The old Grand Port Civil Status Office was closed in July 2013. Since then, the residents of Grand Sable, Old Grand Port, Bambou-Virieu, and surrounding areas were availing of the civil status services at the Mayberg, Rosbel, Plaine-Magnan, and Bel-Air Rivière Sèche. The Mayberg Civil Status Office is the closest alternative office, easily accessible to the inhabitants of Grand Port and is fully operational for 5 days a week. However, Madam Speaker, I'm further informed that the renovation works for the old Grand Port Civil Status Office is being done and will be completed by next month. The recruitment exercise to fill vacancies for 13 civil status officers is ongoing. Thereafter, the old Grand Port Civil Status Office will be reopened, hopefully by March 2026.
Yes, Mr. Ramdas, you're all right? Yes, the Honourable Second Member for Audrey, Mr. François?
Yes, thank you. B1110.
Madam Speaker, let me first inform the House that the sub-office of the Financial Crimes Commission in Rodrigues has now moved from Camp du Roi to Rue de la Solidarité in Port-Maturin. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Financial Crimes Commission that the sub-office is manned by 2 investigators and 1 woman police officer. In addition, the operations of the sub-office under the supervision of 1 chief investigator from the Financial Crimes Commissions based in Mauritius. In relation to Part B of the question, I'm informed that the sub-office is equipped with all the necessary facilities for its operations, and arrangements are also made for officers of the Financial Crimes Commission based in Mauritius to proceed to Rodrigues for interrogation of suspects in high-profile cases as and when required. As regards to Part C of the question, 52 cases have been registered at the sub-office in Rodrigues during the period March 2024 to date. Out of these, 32 cases have been completed and 20 are still under investigation.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes, the Honourable Second Member for Grand Bipudrodon, Mr.
Thank you,
Bijan.
Madam Speaker. B1111.
Madam Speaker, as per the information gathered, Mr. Ravi Yerigadu, barrister at law, provided legal services for the following public institutions and has received fees as stated below. 10.9 million rupees from the SBM Group for a period 2017 to 2024. 10.7 million from the SIC Group for the period 2017 to 2024. 4 million from the GRA for the period 2019 to 2024. 2.4 million rupees from the Mobank Group for the period 2017 to 2025. 1.1 million rupees from the Bank of Mauritius in June 2022. 920,000 rupees from ICTA for the period 2022 to 2024. 637,850 rupees from Airports of Mauritius Company Limited in 2022 and 2024. 603,750 rupees from the Mauritius Police Force
Honourable Minister, please.
during the tenure of the former Commissioner of Police for the period of 2023 to 2024. 393,300 rupees from the Mauritius Duty Free Paradise Company Limited in 2023 and 2024. 320,000 rupees from the S Investment Support Program Limited. 204,960 rupees from the Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited for the period of 2018 to 2019. And 39,200 rupees from the Mauritius Society of Authors during the period 2019 to 2020. Madam Speaker, Mr. Yerigadu, another blue-eyed boy of the previous regime, who enjoyed, Honorable Juval asked me a question about advisors. Look how much money was given at the time, when he enjoyed extreme largesse, as he was providing legal services to not less than 12 government entities from 2017 to 2025. He has, during that period, received fees, Madam Speaker, totaling 32.2 million rupees from various institutions. That is the scandal. I wish you had asked the question then. In view of some disturbing facts that have emerged from the circumstances under which the services of Mr. Yerigadu has been enlisted as legal advisor and the quantum of fees paid, an inquiry will be initiated.
Yes. All right. The honourable third member for Gobert-Sainte-Rivière, Mr. Kira.
B1112.
Madam Speaker, in accordance with the Value-Added Tax Act, small businesses and entrepreneurs whose turnover are between 3 million and 6 million rupees are required to file the first VAT return on or before 31st of January 2026 in respect to the period 1st of October 2025 to 31st of December 2025. A small business entrepreneur submitting the VAT return after the 31st of January 2026 will be liable to pay penalty for non-submission of VAT return and no payment of VAT. Madam Speaker, there is no amnesty provided on tax due by taxpayers. However, small businesses and entrepreneurs will be given a 1 month extension of time, that is up to the 28th of February 2026, to submit the return and pay their VAT without being liable to penalty or fees. Following the announcement in June 2025 in the budget speech 2025-2026 to reduce the VAT registration threshold from 6 million to 3 million rupees, MRA has taken a series of measures to assist small businesses and entrepreneurs to properly prepare and file the VAT return. Namely, a communique was issued on the 12th of September 2025 requesting persons required to be registered and who need assistance to phone on the MRA hotline or to use the MRA e-appointment facility. B, dedicated customer service desks for the SMEs requiring assistance have been put in place at the MRA head office. C, simplified VAT registration system have been put in place. D, a guide on simplified VAT registration is published on the MRA website. E, a guide on simplified record keeping has also been prepared by the MRA. And F, the MRA has invited the newly VAT registered persons to attend dedicated education sessions. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Mauritius Revenue Authority that at 27th of November 2025, a total of 6,518 VAT registration applications have already been received by the MRA compared to the estimated number 6,900 new taxpayers for the financial year.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Kira.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Le Premier ministre peut-il informer la Chambre si le gouvernement pourrait envisager d'accorder une exonération ou tout le moins un moratoire de 6 mois au lieu d'1 mois comme il l'a mentionné, afin de permettre à ces entreprises de s'acquitter de leur premier versement de la TVA dans des conditions soutenables.
It's going to be very difficult to do that, Madam Speaker, for the reasons I gave early on. We have to be sure that we collect the taxes. We have given an extension. That's what we are sticking to.
Okay. Mr. Duval, you wanted?
Yes. Ask the Prime Minister whether he will consider exempting those persons who offer services in coaching, sports training, academies, etc. My understanding is that they are subject to payment of VAT whilst they are promoting a healthier living. So could he review at least that aspect to look at promoting healthier lifestyles, exempting those companies and entrepreneurs from payment of VAT?
That's what I was about to say. All services, because you know, the minute we make exceptions, you will see other people with also exceptions. We have to ensure and act responsibly that we do not allow the public debt to increase, and we get what we are supposed to get in the finances of the coffers of the government, so that we can address the issue that Moody's is looking at very carefully.
Okay. Next question. Mr. Lubin, I think.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. B1113, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Mauritius Ports Authority and the Cargo Handling Corporation Limited that representations have been made in writing on the 20th of August and 10th of September 2025, and also verbally on a few occasions by the Mauritius Export Association and the Mauritius Chamber of Commerce and Industry on behalf of the members regarding delays in the delivery of containers, thus impacting on the business community. Such delays occur mainly after adverse weather conditions, during which container handling operations are suspended for safety and security reasons. The operations of the Cargo Handling Corporation Limited are further affected through the shortage of rubber-tied gantry crane operators and insufficient ship-to-shore cranes. The corporation has presently 5 such cranes which are already operating at full capacity. I wish to inform the House that 3 out of the 8 ship-to-shore cranes, having reached the end of their economic useful lives, were removed from our operations since February 2023, and they were not replaced. These factors slow down vessel performance and affect productivity negatively. Owing to these delays, 10 container vessels carrying a total of 4,396 import containers skipped their calls at Portley Harbour for the period June to August 2025, and this has repercussions on the local market. These ships have been diverted to other regional ports, and the containers ultimately reached Port Louis with significant delays ranging from 4 to 8 weeks. To address this issue, the Mauritius Ports Authority had a meeting on the 22nd of August 2025 with the Cargo Handling Corporation Limited, the Mauritius Export Association, the Mauritius Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as well as the shipping lines, to identify and implement remedial actions. Consequently, the situation has improved, with all diverted containers reaching Port Louis, albeit with some delays, but not such long delays. Madam Speaker, to further improve its services, Cargo Handling Corporation Limited has started the training of 32 employees as rubber-tired gantry operators since last month. In addition, the Government of India is providing, free of cost, a cargo handling equipment training simulator for hands-on training. The Government of India would concurrently depute a technical expert for a period of 2 years for the training of operators. Delivery of the simulator is expected by the end of this year. Madam Speaker, in reply to Parliamentary Question B471 at our sitting of the 13th of May 2025, the House was informed that to enhance efficiency and competitiveness, the Cargo Handling Corporation was proceeding with the implementation of its business plan at the cost of 5.3 billion rupees, with acquisition of the state-of-the-art equipment, implementation of green initiatives, capacity building, and digitalization of operations. This plan is being implemented in 2 phases, and the first phase, of a period of 2 years, comprises the acquisition of the following cargo handling equipment at the cost of 2.77 billion rupees to be financed by the corporation's own funds. 1, an acquisition of 2 superposed Panamax ship-to-shore cranes. 2, acquisition of 5 hybrid rubber-type gantry cranes. And 3, procurement of 15 tractors and trailers and other associated yard equipment. Action is also being taken by the Central Procurement Board for the floating of international tenders. In regards to the second phase, I wish to inform the House that the Government of India has extended a grant for the acquisition of port equipment by the Cargo Handling Corporation to the tune of 3.3 billion rupees, which would include the procurement of 1 superposed Panamax crane, 8 rubber-tied gantry cranes, and other associated yard equipment. In this context, the Ministry of Finance is in the process of signing a memorandum with the Government of India. As I have stated in the House, Madam Speaker, a total revamping of the port and other infrastructure to support maritime economic activities is being envisaged. In this context, following my state visit to India last September, the Indian authorities have agreed in principle on the strategic side for the redevelopment and restructuring of port in Mauritius.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, Dr. Amir?
B114, please.
Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that from the 1st of January 2022 to the 28th of November 2025, 806 cases of road traffic accidents due to driving under the influence of alcohol or illegal drugs or without holding a valid driving license were reported to the police. Out of those 806 cases, 287 were fatal road accidents, out of which 25 cases concerned driving under the influence of alcohol, 8 cases involved driving under the influence of drugs or intoxicating substances, and 8 cases concern driving without a driving license. In regards to Part B of the question, I'm informed that 110 vehicles rented as contract cars were involved in road accidents, among which 4 were illegally rented cars. Out of the 110 rented vehicles, 2 were involved in fatal road accidents while driving under the influence of alcohol, and 1 under the influence of drugs or other intoxicating substances. These figures, Madam Speaker, are a stark reminder that reckless and unlawful driving behaviors, be it under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or without a license, continue to claim lives on our roads. Government remains fully committed to reversing that trend through stronger enforcement, enhanced legislation, and smarter technology. In this regard, amendments to the Road Traffic Act is being introduced, in fact, this very evening in the Assembly. The amendments will reinforce deterrence and ensure that our legal framework keeps pace with evolving road safety challenges.
Thank you. Dr. Amir?
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. With regard to the forthcoming legislation for what we call PME Act 1, may I ask the Honorable Minister whether consideration will be given for those that have resulted in fatalities where there has been drink driving and illegal consumption of drugs, that the very harshest penalties be considered, such as full suspension of their license for life. Thank you.
I think this is already taken care of in the road traffic.
Taken care of, okay.
One more, please.
One more, and then your next question.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I also ask the Honorable Prime Minister whether he will use his good office so that the court system in this country introduce a fast-track system whereby there have been fatalities secondary once again to drug driving or illegal consumption of drugs, so that the chances of being released on bail, which cause so much discomfort to bereaved families, are minimized, and these people are put behind bars at the quickest opportunity that the court can find.
But that
Thank you.
depends on the court.
Yeah, in fact, yes, but I can say that the Attorney General, in fact, is looking at all these measures. There's some opposition to it, I must say, but we are going to go ahead with that. We need to have a fast-track justice wherever there are problems like this. We can't wait for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years.
Okay, interesting. Dr. Amir, your next question.
B1115, thank you.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Financial Crimes Commission that 88 suspects have been arrested under the provisional charges since November 2024 to date. In relation to the information regarding charges leveled against each suspect, the Financial Crimes Commission has advised that by virtue of Section 161 of the Financial Crimes Commission Act, no information relating to any investigation can be divulged. As regards Part B1 of the question, I'm informed by the Financial Crimes Commission that 8 such suspects needed medical attention and proceeded to private clinics or to public hospitals. I'm tabling the details of the 8 suspects who needed medical attention. Out of the 8 suspects, Madam Speaker, 1 obtained bail whilst under medical care. As regards Part B3 of the question, 3 suspects spent time both in police custody and in private clinics pending their release on bail.
Thank you. Yes? 2 questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What I'm going to say, the whole House is aware. Keeping in mind that the Honorable Prime Minister himself, while he was under vile persecution, he did not at any time attempt to replace prison with luxury confinement, but faced the music and went to Mocha Detention Center. Can I ask the Honorable Prime Minister whether he will consider that a medical unit be made available either in Melrose Clinic or at the FCC, particularly with specialized care in cardiology, because most of them have cardiac issues, to avoid the tactical use of medical conditions to remain in such hospital institutions.
Very good.
totally agree with the honourable member, and I can tell him, I can tell the House that this in fact is being considered by the Attorney General, and we're going to come with legislation addressing this issue.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know I'm taking a lot of time today, but it is my specialty, my expertise.
Don't waste time then.
Will the Honourable Prime Minister use his good office to have advised the Ministry of Health to allow specialists or senior specialists in subspecialty care to visit suspected people who have been suspected that have been conveyed by the FCC or Central CID at public hospital, and liaise with them and give them the authority to liaise to provide the best medical attention, so that once again, the use of private institutions cannot be used as an attempt to show justice à deux vitesses. Thank you.
Yes, again, I totally agree with the honourable member, and we are addressing this issue. We have public hospitals. Why the hell do they have to go to private clinics and stay in comfort? No, this is going to be addressed.
Thank you. I will allow Mr. Jaman last question, and I will give you your supplementary as well.
Thank you, Madam. Question B1116, please.
Madam Speaker, in my reply to B405 on the 6th of May 2025, I informed the House that an amount of 3.55 billion rupees was deposited by government-related entities in Silverbank Limited. This was purposely done to create a misleading enhancement of the bank's balance sheet. The decision to invest so much money in such a dubious bank with no track record was outright incompetence, bordering, I should say, on criminal offense in the exercise of the previous administration duty in safeguarding public funds. So much was invested in Silverbank Limited, despite the then government themselves issuing a circular requesting government-related entities to invest the surplus cash balances into the treasury certificates, which are much safer. They issued the circular, and yet this is what they did with Silverbank. Stealing public money, that's what they were doing. As of date, more than 900 million rupees are still due to these government-related entities. I'm informed that the Bank of Mauritius, by virtue of Section 65 of the Banking Act of 2004, appointed Mr. Arvind Singh Gokul as conservator of Silverbank Limited on the 13th of February 2024. And believe it or not, a monthly fee of 3.5 million rupees was payable as conservation fee. Since Mr. Gokul was Director of Advisory Services at Grant Thornton Advisory Services, the monthly fee was payable to the company. As from the 16th of November 2024, the Bank of Mauritius negotiated the fee, and it was revised downward to 2.5 million rupees per month. I'm informed by the Bank of Mauritius that the current management retained the services of Mr. Gokul, as it would have been costly to replace him. However, the new management decided that even 2.5 million rupees was too high and reduced it to 1.5 million rupees as from the 18th of December 2024. Due to the substantial delay in finalizing the proposed sale of the Silverbank Limited, the new management of the Bank of Mauritius further reduced the fee to 300,000 rupees per month with effect as on the 1st of February 2025. With regard to Part A1 of the question, I'm informed that the Bank of Mauritius has, for the period from 13th of February 2024 to March 2025, has paid a sum of 39.7 million rupees to Grant Thornton Advisory Services, with the employer on Mr. Arvind Singh Gokul. As regards to Part A2 of the question, I'm informed that the Bank of Mauritius on the 31st of March of this year, Mr. Gokul resigned from Grant Thornton Limited, but the conservation fee of 300,000 rupees per month is now being paid to Vedanta and AA Services, of which the same Mr. Gokul is the sole shareholder and director. An amount of 2.3 million rupees have been paid to Vedanta AA services from April 2025 to date. With regard to part A3 of the question, I'm informed that the Bank of Mauritius, that no other firm or individual except Mr. Gokul has served as conservator of Silver Bank since the 13th of February 2024. As regards to part B of the question, I'm informed by the Bank of Mauritius that for the period of February 2024 to 27th of November 2025, only 206.3 million rupees have been recovered out of the total loan portfolio of 8.2 billion rupees of Silver Bank Limited. This, Madam Speaker, represents only 2.5% of the total portfolio. This gives us a stark indication of just how toxic the Silver Bank loan portfolio is. The toxicity of the loan portfolio was directly exacerbated by the influence of the previous government. I must say to the House that it is a shame that he is still there. But there are reasons that they've given me because of the cost of paying compensation and all those things. But all this will be subject to an inquiry.
Yes, Mr. Jamal? Yes? Time is up. I said I would give him one, but time is already up. Now, the table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn: B1119, B1120, B1121, B1122, B1123, B1125. Thank you. Now we go to questions to ministers. Mr. Kazer?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. PQB 1128, please.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Honourable Member for this question. The MOPAS application is a single sign-on platform which creates the bridge between the physical world and the virtual world. So it helps the government identify citizens using services which are deployed on the internet, deployed by the government. It's a very critical application, and hence I understand the question. So services that are available today, for which we have to authenticate through MOPAS, include application for jobs with the Public Service Commission, downloading birth certificates, marriage certificates, renewal of motor vehicle licenses, application for certificate of character. So we can count more than 100, Madam Speaker. As regards to part one of the question, the MOPAS application has, as at 1st December 2025, 427,467 users or Mauritians registered on that system. As the House is aware, on 26th of 2025, we actually published the blueprint, and the blueprint takes into consideration the usage of MOPAS and the promotion of that usage. My ministry has therefore embarked on a massive onboarding process to increase the number of MOPAS users. During the period of July to August 2025, 8 awareness sessions were conducted at different malls across the island, mainly during weekends, to educate citizens on MOPAS platform and to help them create their MOPAS accounts. The post office as well is also engaged in that activity. So we are also using the social welfare centers, and we touched around 1,866 citizens with that. And these efforts yielded 12,934 new registrations of citizens on MOPAS platform. So, Madam Speaker, the initiative that have been undertaken by my ministry to reach maximum number of users has been ongoing. And to reach further citizens, a team from my ministry trained around 209 officers at 8 community centers and 25 officers working in the social welfare centers on the creation of MOPAS accounts. Similar activities will now be undertaken with the Citizens Advice Bureaus. And with respect to part B, of the question, Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that as per paragraph 6 of the National Identity Card Regulations 2024, an applicant for a new identity card may opt for the creation of a MOPAS account and the installation of digital certificates on his or her identity card. Since the implementation of the new identity card in February 2024, 146,771 citizens have opted for a MOPAS account while applying for a new identity card. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes. All right. Honourable members, the table has been advised that PQB 1133 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity. PQB 1150 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of National Infrastructure. Yeah. Now we proceed with Honourable Third Member for Vieux-Grand-Port, Rosebel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. PQB 1129, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the drain works in the southeast region concern 6 villages, namely Rivière-des-Créoles, Vieux-Grand-Port, Bois des Amourettes, Ange-Doncé-Providence, Petit Sable, Grand Sable, and Bambou-Verrieux. With a view to mitigating flooding in the region, the NDU has appointed consultant Servan Singh Jadhav and partners, Consulting Engineers Limited, for a thorough study of the whole region. Geotechnical investigations have also been carried out to assess soil stabilization measures along track roads and mountain slopes before proceeding with the construction of major cut-off drains in all the 6 villages. The detailed design report has already been finalized, and the whole project is estimated to cost some 576.15 million rupees, including VAT and contingencies. The consultant has been requested to advise on immediate short-term measures which may be implemented to bring relief to the inhabitants pending implementation of the drain project holistically. Madam Speaker, the Road Development Authority has also implemented 2 projects at Rivière-des-Créoles as follows. First, construction of a reinforced concrete parapet wall along diverted drainage path at Rivière-des-Créoles near underpath at Rivière-des-Créoles. And second, stabilization works designed and built on turnkey basis at Rivière-des-Créoles along South-Eastern Highway A15. Madam Speaker, with regards to the region of Nouvelle-France, I have to inform the House that the NDU has already implemented drain projects in different alignments as follows. Alignment 3, drain works along A9 Road. Second, alignments 3.1 to 3.3, upstream of A9. And alignment 6 from Coville to near Community Center. Third, construction of retention basin Poncy in the region of Kanpur, Nouvelle-France, and desilting of river Lachaux, 1 kilometer stretch, and other flood mitigating projects undertaken by the RDA include redesign of Nouvelle-France roundabout on motorway M1, drain works along A10 road at Nouvelle-France at the level of Nouvelle-France police station to roundabout on motorway M1, and alignment 6.1, drain works along A10. Madam Speaker, as advised by the LDA, the NDU has also embarked on the construction of retention basins and drainage alignment along the upstream of Sèvres-Mart, Comelon region, and Savantnik Road. The design was approved by the LDA on 30 September 2025, and action is being initiated for land acquisition and way leaves. Madam Speaker, as immediate measures, both the Road Development Authority and the District Council of Grand-Port have been requested to proceed with the cleaning of drains and culverts within their jurisdiction in the villages of Rivière-des-Créoles and Nouvelle-France, as per the maintenance plan approved by the LDA.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ramdas.
Is the Honourable Minister aware of the number of inhabitants of in respect of the Rivière-des-Créoles area, of the number of inhabitants affected by the floods, And is he also aware that certain families have had to leave their houses to seek refuge elsewhere in times of flooding?
Madam Speaker, I'm aware, and that's why we say we are working on short-term, immediate measures and long-term as a holistic measures, and the consultants are working, and I've even given the cost of the holistic project will be 576 million rupees. We know in which situation, financial situation we are. We are trying to get financial clearance so as to do the project holistically.
Yes?
Obviously, I take note of the cost to the tune of 576 million. May we have an indication from the Honourable Minister as to when the works may be expected to start, and if at all they can be considered in stages, at least to alleviate the sufferings of these people in these areas?
Yes, Minister? Can you give that undertaking?
I think I've said in my answer that the consultant has been requested to advise on immediate short-term measures which may be implemented to bring relief to the inhabitants pending implementation of the drain project holistically. So we wait for the consultant to give us the short-term measures that have to be
Okay,
done.
I think that should be all right. You still want to? No. Ms. Tanu, please.
Thank you, Madam
Second
Speaker.
member for Quartier Militaire. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. PQB 1130, please.
Madam Speaker, I thank the honourable member for this question. At the outset, however, I wish to clarify that my ministry is not responsible for issuing of evacuation orders for dwellings exposed to landslides, erosion or flooding. Evacuation orders are issued by the National Crisis Committee in accordance with Section 16(2) of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act of 2016, directing any person to evacuate their premises or any public place, or directing any person in a particular area to be evacuated within a certain specific time. I am informed that so far one evacuation order was issued at Rivière des Créoles, 5 evacuation orders were issued in the regions of Saint-Pierre and Verdun, and 6 evacuation orders were issued in Souillac during the period 2019 to 2024. Furthermore, the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Center has informed that some 86 families are still residing in their dwellings located at areas classified as being at risk of landslides and erosion. Surveys are also ongoing in other areas, such as Crèvecoeur and Saint-Pierre, particularly along the Rivière Profonde stretch. As regards the measures, Madam Speaker, already in place and those planned to safeguard residents living in high-risk zones ahead of 2025-2026 flood season, I'm informed that regular simulation exercises, sensitization campaigns, and awareness initiatives are being carried out jointly with the local authorities. In addition, during the rainy and cyclonic periods, the following actions are inter alia undertaken. 1. Continuous monitoring of vulnerable sites. 2. Regular police patrols. 3. Issuance of alerts to expose families through the National Multi-Hazards Early Alert System. And 4. Pre-positioning and deployment of first responders, including the SMF, the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Services, and the Special Support Unit, and the regular police.
Thank you, Minister. Yes, Ms. Tanu?
Thank you, Minister. Are Japanese experts currently involved in the geotechnical approach to the surveys, please? I know the experts are currently employed at the Ministry of Infrastructure. Thank you.
As I have said at the very outset of my answer, my ministry is not responsible for evacuation orders. I gave the information that I obtained from all other ministries as to what work is being done. Now, as far as specifics are concerned, I would invite the Honourable Member, Madam Speaker, to put a question to the substantive minister responsible for such geotechnical investigations. It would not be within the ambit of my portfolio, and therefore I would not be able to give the answer to the Honourable Member.
Yes? Honourable Member, you will do that, I'm sure. Now I have the Honourable Fourth Member for Port North. Yes? Mr. Duval?
B 1131.
Madam Speaker, with due respect, before addressing the question on funding, it is important to this House to recall the circumstances surrounding the land allocated to the Mauritius Tamil Cultural Center Trust. The land at Redji Triangle, Mocha, was originally leased to the Mauritius Tamil Cultural Center Trust in August 2010, together with the Hindi-speaking union and the Urdu-speaking union, under the Prime Ministership of the Honorable Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam. This was done in recognition of the long-standing cultural contribution of these communities and as part of a coherent national vision to support and strengthen our multicultural identity. However, in April 2023, the previous government cancelled that lease. Madam Speaker, it is publicly known that this decision was taken at a time when attempts were being made to divert the land to individuals closely connected to those in power. Such actions understandably generated deep resentment within the Tamil community and raised legitimate concerns about fairness and preferential treatment. Madam Speaker, the retrieval of the land was regarded by the Tamil community as a profound injustice. In August 2024, members of the community, together with the Rannu la Terre movement, organized a peaceful march to defend their legitimate rights. Unfortunately, this peaceful mobilization was met with arbitrary arrest. This caused further distress and raised serious concerns among Mauritians regarding dignity, justice, and the protection of fundamental freedoms. What was equally troubling, Madam Speaker, is that after nearly 10 years of inaction, the previous government suddenly announced, almost on the eve of the 2024 general election, that it would construct buildings for the free organizations whose leases had cancelled. These organizations had been shifted to Côte d'Or. The timing and manner of this announcement strongly suggests that it was motivated more political mileage than by any genuine project supported by planning, funding, or long-term commitment. Madam Speaker, upon returning to office in November 2024, this government moved swiftly and responsibly to correct the injustice created. We honored our commitment to the Tamil community by restoring the land at Redji Triangle. A new lease agreement was signed on 20th May 2025, restating the Mauritius Tamil Cultural Center Trust legitimate rights and rectifying the unfairness that had been inflicted. Turning now to the specific question of funding raised by the honourable member, I wish to state clearly that l'Alliance du Changement never pledged to provide financial support for the construction of a cultural center building for the Mauritius Tamil Cultural Center Trust. Furthermore, this government is not constructing any cultural center building for any community at this stage. The economic situation inherited by this government has been nothing short of catastrophic. We are therefore required to prioritize essential national obligations such as stabilizing public finances, reinforcing social protection systems, and meeting urgent service delivery needs. In this context, embarking on new capital incentive cultural infrastructure projects would not be responsible or sustainable at the moment. This is no way diminishes our unwavering commitment to promote and safeguard the culture and heritage of all communities, including the Tamil community. It simply reflects the fiscal reality that this government must manage responsibly. Madam Speaker, this government remains firmly committed to fairness, transparency, and respect for all communities. We will continue to act responsibly and with full regard to fiscal discipline, transparency, and long-term sustainability in the cultural sector, unlike our predecessor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
There has been, in fact, promises made during the campaign. Maybe the minister will not recall. I can tell you the name of members who have
Question,
gone as
please.
far as the radio to say so. Well, I will ask the minister, the honourable minister, whether there has been any representations with his ministry with regards to financial support for the construction which is pending since more than 20 years now there.
I think I have already replied the question. We have not committed ourselves.
No, whether
Nothing.
there were representations?
No, not at all.
Right.
Okay.
May I have a second question?
Yes?
Then may I ask whether he is prepared to receive representations from the MTCC with regards to construction, given that the promise has been made and
Honourable member.
I maintain,
Honourable member.
I maintain, and that therefore the subject matter ought to be discussed with them.
Minister said that there was no promise. You are asking him if he will meet representatives. Maybe you can meet representatives, Minister. Yes?
You must give evidence.
But maybe the minister can meet representatives. Not necessarily for what he says.
Why should we meet if we are not going?
If nobody asked.
Yeah.
But if somebody asked.
If they ask, yes, of course we'll meet them.
On est à
With
Maurice.
pleasure, we'll meet them, Madam Speaker.
On est à Maurice, on est bien élevé. Allez. Now I have a few minutes. Second member for my group, Pleine Manière, Mr. Apollon. Celui-là a été... Okay. This question has been withdrawn. J'ai beaucoup de mal à suivre. Hein. This question has been withdrawn. On m'envoie des tas de petits papiers. Il va falloir trouver le meilleur système. Hein. Okay. So if the question has been withdrawn, I propose that we break for lunch. Il reste quelques minutes. Now you can come. Maintenant.